The Fantastic Four are a team of four adventurers, each with unique powers gained from cosmic radiation. Ever since their 1961 debut, fans have debated which member is the most powerful. In this video, I'll introduce Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, Human Torch, and the Thing with their abilities, look at the maximum extent of their powers as seen in comics, shows, or movies, review their notable feats, who they've defeated and how, and finally compare their overall power. Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, is the leader of the team and one of the smartest minds in the Marvel Universe. His superpower is extreme elasticity, where he can stretch, bend, and reshape his body at will. He can elongate his limbs like rubber, flatten himself, or form complex shapes. This means he can do things like squeeze through tiny spaces or become a human trampoline or parachute. In battle, Reed often uses his elastic body to restrain enemies or absorb impacts. For example, he has contained explosions by wrapping his malleable body around explosive material to smother the blast. His resilience is impressive. Bullets and punches can bounce off his stretchy form, and he can withstand great physical stress by deforming rather than breaking. Reed's intellect is arguably an even greater asset. He constantly invents devices and plans that leverage science to overcome threats far beyond brute strength. Mr. Fantastic's powers aren't about raw damage but creative utility. One of his most dramatic feats was during the Fantastic Four's first encounter with the world-devouring Galactus. In the classic Galactus trilogy, in Fantastic Four issue 48 through 50, Reed's ingenuity saved Earth. He obtained the cosmic ultimate nullifier device and threatened Galactus with it, forcing the cosmic giant to retreat. This wasn't a direct use of Reed's stretching power, but it shows how his brains and courage can defeat even godlike enemies. In terms of using his elastic abilities at full capacity, Reed has stretched himself into enormous shapes and withstood extreme forces. He once disguised himself as other people by reshaping his face, and he's even survived being flattened and stretched unimaginably thin. Reed's elasticity combined with his quick thinking allowed him to contain a small nuclear blast on one occasion, encircling it with his body to dampen the explosion. He's also formed giant nets or parachutes with his body to save allies from falls in various comic adventures. These creative uses demonstrate his maximum potential as a human rubber man. Reed Richards has a long history of outsmarting villains. His arch enemy is Doctor Doom, a genius villain and sorcerer. Time and time again, Reed has managed to thwart Doom's plans. Their intellectual battles are legendary in Marvel lore. While Reed might not punch the hardest, he has defeated or helped defeat many powerful foes through strategy. He was key in defeating Galactus, as mentioned, and has led the Fantastic Four to victory against threats like the Skrulls and Annihilus from the Negative Zone. Reed has also invented gadgets like the portal to the Negative Zone or the unstable molecule suits that directly enable the team's victories. Essentially, Mr. Fantastic's power lies in his combination of elasticity and genius. He can physically wrap up a foe or slip out of traps, and intellectually devise a solution to virtually any problem. While in pure physical power, Reed might rank last among the four. His contributions make him the linchpin of the team in many battles. Sue Storm, or the Invisible Woman, originally Invisible Girl, possesses two main powers: invisibility and force field generation. She can render herself and others or objects completely invisible at will. More impressively, Sue can project invisible force fields, powerful energy barriers that she shapes and controls with her mind. She can create invisible shields of almost any size or shape, from protective domes around her team to tiny force ball projectiles to platforms she can stand on, and much more. These force fields are incredibly strong and versatile. She can make them rigid as steel or flexible, transparent or opaque. For example, she can form an invisible bubble to capture enemies or block attacks. She once shielded the entire city of Manhattan for a time, and has blocked heavy hitters like the Hulk's blows and even Namor's super strong charges with her fields. Sue's power is limited mostly by her concentration. Maintaining big or multiple force fields can strain her, but her experience over the years has made her a true master of this ability. It's often said, even by her enemies, that Sue is the most powerful member of the group due to the sheer potential of her force field abilities. The Invisible Woman's maximum power feats are quite astounding. She has shown the ability to wield her force fields offensively in terrifying ways. For instance, Sue can project a force field inside an object or even a person and then expand it, effectively causing the target to explode from within. She generally refrains from lethal use of her powers, but in extreme cases she has threatened to do this. Sue actually did something along these lines to a cosmic being. Doctor Doom himself acknowledged that Sue could rupture the armor shell of a celestial using her force fields. One of Sue's greatest comic feats occurred during the Malice arc in Fantastic Four issue 281 to 284. The villain Psycho Man manipulated Sue's emotions, turning her temporarily evil as Malice. When Sue broke free of his control, she unleashed the full force of her powers on Psycho Man. She took his own control device and used it against him, essentially overloading his nervous system and defeating him decisively. This was a turning point where Sue realized how powerful she could be. Afterwards, she renamed herself Invisible Woman to reflect her growth. Another impressive feat in an alternate universe story, Ultimate Fantastic Four, Sue and Johnny together defeated the Dread Lord Dormammu. Sue suffocated Dormammu's avatar by sealing its head in a force field, while Johnny's flames overwhelmed it, showing her fields can even encounter mighty demonic beings. Furthermore, Sue once contained a cosmic-level explosion for a short time and has made whole waves of invisible threats visible by outlining them with her force energy. Her force fields have stopped laser cannons, explosions, and even celestial energy in various comics. In terms of raw power output and versatility, Sue's max potential is extraordinarily high. She can protect, attack, and maneuver in creative ways that few heroes or villains can match. Invisible Woman has racked up an impressive list of feats against powerful opponents. She has defeated Psycho Man, as mentioned, effectively neutralizing a villain who once terrorized her. She has stood up to Doctor Doom on several occasions. In one instance, when Doom threatened her children, Sue angrily retaliated and demonstrated she could kill him with a thought by putting a force field in his brain. She didn't follow through, but the threat alone showed Doom how dangerous she truly is. Sue has fended off Ultron, using her shields and helped take down Annihilus by blocking his path. During the Avengers vs. X-Men storyline, Sue contained powerful mutants with her force fields, showing that even heroes like Magneto or Jean Grey can be helpless if Sue traps them in a bubble. In one confrontation, Sue briefly held the Hulk inside a force field bubble, cutting off his air until he calmed down. Even underwater, she has crushed attacking submarines by forming spheres around them. It's no wonder that Sue Storm is often called the Fantastic Four's secret powerhouse. Her peers and foes recognize that her power, used without restraint, could overcome almost anyone. Doctor Doom has flat out stated that Sue is the most powerful member of the Fantastic Four and one of the most formidable women on the planet. Given her ability to invisibly suffocate or blow up an enemy and to shield her team from almost any harm, Sue's significance in the team's victories is enormous. Fun fact, Sue's abilities tap into an extra-dimensional energy called hyperspace, the same source Celestials use, which helps explain why her force fields can do seemingly impossible things. Johnny Storm, the Human Torch, is Sue's younger brother and the hothead member of the team, literally. His power is the ability to ignite his entire body into flames. When Johnny shouts flame on, he becomes a blazing, flying fire being. He can fly by propelling himself into fiery energy and control fire at will. Johnny can shoot flames as streams or fireballs, create shapes like rings or letters out of fire, and intensify or dampen his heat as needed. He's immune to any fire or heat himself, and he can even absorb fire from other sources. The Human Torch's normal flames are extremely hot, hot enough to melt steel or evaporate water instantly. However, his ultimate attack is the Nova Flame. By concentrating and releasing all his energy, Johnny can produce a burst of heat as hot as the surface of the sun, or even hotter. This nova flame is devastatingly destructive, effectively a supernova-level blast of fire. It's said to be heat beyond measure and is Johnny's maximum power output. The downside is that going nova drains him severely and could harm the environment and his teammates if he's not careful. He can only sustain such extreme heat briefly. Johnny's powers also have a natural limit in that he needs oxygen to keep flaming. His fire can be smothered or doused by sufficient water or vacuum. Still, in full flame mode, the Human Torch is one of the fastest flyers in the air and can unleash tremendous firepower, making him a force to be reckoned with. The Human Torch has had several moments in comics that showcase his maximum power and heroism. One of the greatest examples is during the Negative Zone storyline, culminating in Fantastic Four issue 587 and issue 600. In this story, an army of monsters from the Negative Zone, led by the evil insectoid tyrant Annihilus, invaded the Fantastic Four's headquarters. Johnny Storm volunteered to stay behind to seal the portal, trapping himself in the Negative Zone with endless hordes of creatures. In his last stand, Johnny unleashed everything he had, going full Nova Flame to obliterate wave after wave of Annihilus's soldiers. He fought until he was overwhelmed and seemingly killed. For a time, the world believed Johnny had heroically sacrificed his life. But in truth, Johnny survived, and Nihilus resurrected him to make sport of him in gladiatorial games. Johnny eventually turned the tables with the help of alien allies like the Light Brigade. He broke free and even defeated Nihilus by snatching the cosmic control rod that powers him. In Fantastic Four issue 600, Johnny returned to Earth triumphantly, having effectively conquered Annihilus's forces. Stealing Annihilus's cosmic control rod is a huge feat, as Annihilus is one of the team's deadliest foes. The victory showed Johnny's growth and maximum resolve. Another major feat was Johnny's early victory over the Super Skrull. The Super Skrull is a Marvel villain who had all of the combined powers of the Fantastic Four. In Fantastic Four issue 18, the Human Torch battled the Super Skrull on an alien world. Johnny cleverly tricked the Super Skrull by creating a massive flame diversion and caused him to fall into a crater, then buried him alive in molten rock, trapping the Skrull underground. While Johnny was the one to finish the squirrel off, Sue did weaken him before this happened. This win demonstrated Johnny's ingenuity and sheer power at a young age. Johnny has also gone supernova in other instances. One time he generated enough heat to destroy a giant space station threatening Earth. In animated series and films, we've seen glimpses of his top power. For example, in the 2007 movie Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, Johnny temporarily absorbed all his teammates' powers and with a mix of fire and thing-like strength defeated Doctor Doom. In normal continuity, Johnny has used his flame in creative ways, like wielding gigantic machines, evaporating floodwaters, and even briefly holding off Galactus' heralds with intense heat blasts. One comic storyline even had Johnny become a temporary herald of Galactus when he and Sue swapped powers, and Galactus imbued Johnny with cosmic power, which let him burn with cosmic flames and see into the core of people's souls. All these instances underscore that when fully unleashed, the Human Torch's power rivals some of the top-tier energy wielders in Marvel. His Nova Flame is arguably the highest destructive output among the Fantastic Four, though he must use it sparingly. Johnny's fiery personality often leads him into solo scraps with villains, and he has a number of wins under his belt. Aside from the Super Skrull victory mentioned above, he's had successes against foes like Namor. Johnny once evaporated a huge wave Namor sent and helped force Namor to retreat back to the ocean. He has melted the weapons of villains like Doctor Doom's robots and the Frightful Four's gadgets. In a classic story, Johnny battled Hydra Man, a water-controlling villain, and managed to vaporize enough of him to force a stalemate. During the Infinity War event, the Human Torch helped destroy doppelganger demons with his flame. He also played a key role in defeating Fin Fang Foom by overheating the creature's armored-like skin. One of Johnny's most important fights was against a Nihilist, as detailed. By taking a Nihilist out of play and seizing the Cosmic Control Rod, Johnny removed a threat that had previously required the whole Fantastic Four and more to handle. It's worth noting that even though Johnny is powerful, some enemies initially underestimated him. For example, Doctor Doom often saw Johnny as a lesser threat compared to Reed, but Johnny has proven him wrong at times by foiling Doom's plans with quick action, like melting Doom's armor, circuitry, or burning his scrolls. The Human Torch has also teamed up with other heroes, like Spider-Man, his best friend, to defeat villains such as Mysterio and Sandman. In one case, Johnny turned Sandman's sand into glass by heating it, effectively immobilizing him. Overall, Johnny's victories tend to involve him using intense heat or clever tricks with fire to counter foes. He might not have the strategic mind of Reed or the precision of Sue, but his raw power and daring nature have saved the day on countless occasions. Ben Grimm, known as the Thing, is the powerhouse brawler of the Fantastic Four. Once a human test pilot, Ben was transformed into a rocky, orange-skinned, super-strong form. As the Thing, Ben possesses immense strength, stamina, and durability. His body is like living rock, hard, dense, and extremely tough. He can lift at least 85 tons under normal conditions, and over the years his strength grew closer to the 100-ton range. In practical terms, the Thing can punch through steel walls, lift tanks or buildings, and go toe-to-toe in physical combat with the strongest beings on Earth. His durability is legendary. Ben's rocky hide can withstand powerful explosives, high-caliber bullets, temperature extremes, and energy blasts. In fact, it's said that only very few things can pierce his stone skin. Usually magical weapons or extremely advanced alien technology are needed to seriously injure him. He survived falls from great heights and battled for hours on end without tiring, thanks to his superhuman endurance. Despite his craggy appearance, the Thing is not slow. He has good reflexes and is a skilled fighter, having a background in street fighting and military training. He often quips that it's clobbering time, a signal that he's about to unleash a powerful beatdown. Ben's strength might not be limitless, unlike, say, the Hulk, whose rage can escalate, but it is consistent and formidable. In the hierarchy of Marvel strongmen, the Thing is commonly ranked near the top. In fact, the Thing is perhaps the strongest mortal after the Hulk on Earth. Over the decades, the Thing has demonstrated just how strong and tough he can be. In a later comic, Ben went through a second mutation that made him even stronger. He grew spikier in appearance. During this phase in Fantastic Four issue 320, Ben fought the Grey Hulk, a slightly weaker but craftier incarnation of the Hulk, and was winning the fight outright. The Thing pummeled the Grey Hulk so hard that the Hulk tried to flee. Ultimately, their battle ended with Hulk outsmarting Ben rather than overpowering him, implying Ben had the upper hand in raw strength at that time. In more recent comics, Ben achieved a truly jaw-dropping victory. He knocked out the Hulk, specifically the Immortal Hulk version. In the 2019 issue Fantastic Four Volume 6, Issue 12, Ben was given a temporary boost where he wouldn't revert to human for a while, and he fought the Hulk on a beach during his honeymoon. In that brutal fight, Ben put all his strength into one final punch that knocked the Hulk unconscious, something almost no one ever manages, though the effort shattered Ben's own arm. This feat showed that on his best day, the Thing can ring the bell of the Hulk himself. Another demonstration of Ben's might came in the classic Champion of the Universe boxing match, which was in Marvel 2-in-1 Annual, Issue 7. An Elder of the Universe called the Champion challenged Earth's heroes to a boxing match. The Thing was the last man standing against this nearly omnipotent being. Despite having his ribs broken and face battered, and ultimately losing the match by technicality, Ben refused to stay down, impressing the champion so much that he spared the Earth out of respect. That story illustrated Ben's unparalleled willpower and durability. His body took blows that could take down a god, yet he kept fighting. In terms of durability feats, the Thing has withstood Johnny's full Nova Flame Blast, albeit with pain, took hits from the Hulk, Thor, and other heavy hitters, and survived orbital fall impacts. His skin has only been punctured a handful of times in history, like by Wolverine's adamantium claws or a mystical sword. Otherwise, he's essentially an indestructible rock man in battle. All these moments define the Thing's maximum prowess. When there's a massive object to hold up or a powerhouse enemy to slug, Ben Grimm is the one who steps up and won't falter. The Thing's battle record is full of brawls with Marvel's strongest villains and heroes alike. Most famously, Ben has a long-running friendly rivalry with the Incredible Hulk. They have fought many times, and although Hulk usually had the edge due to his rage growing, etc., Ben has fought the Hulk to a standstill on a few occasions, and even beaten him once or twice under specific conditions. Ben has also defeated the Rhino, another super strong brute, in hand-to-hand combat, knocked out Doctor Doom's battle robots by the dozen, and demolished villains like the Wrecker, who has Asgardian strength in a brawl. He's tangled with cosmic foes too. For example, Ben fought the alien tyrant Annihilus multiple times. The Thing was important in battles against the Frightful Four, an evil counterpart team. He often took on their strongest member, like Bulldozer or Hydro Man, infused with strength, and beat them. In addition, Ben has a reputation for never giving up, which often intimidates opponents. During the Fear Itself crossover, the Thing was corrupted into a stronger form, angrier, and even fought Thor, showing that if Ben ever lost control, his strength could become even more fearsome. In more grounded tales, Ben's taken down entire gangs of superpowered foes simply because his combination of strength, skill, and toughness is hard to overcome. Outside of pure fights, Ben's significance is also in being the team's rock, figuratively and literally. Enemies who try to hurt his family often learn the hard way that the Thing hits back the hardest. A heartwarming example: when the villain Norman Osborn threatened the Richards children, Ben stood eye to eye with Osborn and made it clear he could punch Norman into next week if he dared, and Osborn backed down. So the Thing might lack fancy powers like flying or energy beams, but he has beat down villains from street level to cosmic level through a mix of brawn and guts. From the Yancey Street Gang in his youth to Galactus' heralds, Ben has fought them all. His most powerful trait is that he'll fight to protect his family no matter how strong the opponent is, and more often than not, Ben finds a way to win, or at least make sure the bad guy knows they were in a fight. So who is the most powerful member of the Fantastic Four? By now it's clear that each of the core four brings different strengths to the table. If we talk about raw power alone, Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman, is the most powerful. Her force field abilities can unleash tremendous force or provide near impregnable defense. She can conceivably suffocate or explode almost any enemy if morals didn't hold her back, and her shields have stood up to cosmic level attacks. Right behind her in raw power is Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. His Nova Flame can reach sun-like temperatures, and he can cause massive destruction, arguably more than Ben in terms of area of effect. However, Johnny's power has more inherent checks, like needing oxygen and risking burnout. The Thing comes next with his enormous consistent strength. He is the strongest in sheer physical might on the team, and his blows can knock out beings as tough as the Hulk. But because he is limited to melee range and cannot project energy or fly, his impact is a bit more restricted compared to Sue's and Johnny's far-ranging powers. Reed Richards would rank last in pure power, since stretching, while very useful, isn't as directly overwhelming in a fight. Reed can't hit with the force of the Thing's punch or scorch an area like the Torch. His strength lies in his mind and strategic use of his powers, rather than raw offensive capability. That said, power isn't the only way to measure most powerful. We should also consider versatility and significance to get a fuller picture. Here the rankings shift a bit. Mr. Fantastic's value skyrockets when you factor in his versatility and leadership. Reed's genius-level intellect and problem-solving are responsible for defeating many threats that brute force alone could not stop. His inventions, from the unstable molecule suits to interdimensional portals and strategies, have saved the team and the world countless times. In terms of significance, Reed is arguably the most important member. Without him, the team might not have solutions to cosmic problems, for example, figuring out how to stop Galactus or cure diseases. His power of elasticity also has versatile uses: spying, shaping tools, shielding others, etc., though it's subtle. Meanwhile, Invisible Woman combines high raw power with versatility. She can attack, defend, turn invisible, and even assist with tasks like holding structures together with her fields or lifting heavy objects telekinetically. Sue oftentimes protects the team with force fields while also finding clever ways to stop the enemy. Beyond powers, she's the emotional center of the group, which is a significant factor in the team's cohesion. Human Torch, while more one-dimensional in ability, such as fire and lots of it, has versatility within that domain. He can fly at high speed, making him the team's quickest responder, absorb flames, which is used for containing disasters, and modulate his fire for various effects. Johnny's significance is sometimes underplayed, but he's been the wild card that ended fights quickly by going supernova or performing a daring maneuver. Finally, the Thing may be straightforward in power, but his significance is huge as well. He's the team's shield and backbone. When a fight breaks out, Ben is usually front and center, taking the hits and drawing enemy fire because he can survive it, which allows his teammates to execute their plans. His presence gives the others confidence, and his never say die attitude has turned the tide in dire situations. Morale and determination can be as important as raw power in some situations. So if we make a ranking by pure power alone, it would be 1. Invisible Woman, 2. Human Torch, 3. The Thing, and 4. Mr. Fantastic. Sue simply has the most formidable ability set in direct confrontation. Johnny can unleash greater immediate destruction than Ben, though Ben's strength is nothing to scoff at. Reed comes in last purely because his power is not offensive in nature. However, when we rank by versatility and significance to the team's success, it would have to be 1. Mr. Fantastic, a close second, 2. Invisible Woman, 3. Human Torch, and 4. The Thing. Reed's strategic genius and scientific versatility often make him the most important member in a broader sense. He literally leads the team and often figures out how to win. Sue is a close second here because her powers can adapt to almost any situation. There's a reason she's called the most powerful, and she's effectively second in command. Johnny's versatility is a bit more limited to combat and travel, but he's still very significant when a heavy-hitting foe needs to be taken out fast. Ben, while less versatile because punching is his main answer to problems, is extremely significant as a team's protector, and the one who handles things no one else can physically do, like holding up a collapsing building or wrestling a giant monster one-on-one. So the title of most powerful Fantastic Four member can be viewed in different ways. In terms of sheer superhuman power, Invisible Woman stands at the top, given her incredible force fields and what she's accomplished with them. But each member is most powerful in their own domain. Reed in intellect, Sue in raw ability, Johnny in unleashed energy, and Ben in strength and heart. The Fantastic Four truly function as a family unit, where each one's strengths cover the other's weaknesses. And when they combine forces, they've defeated everything from planet-eating cosmic beings to hordes of alien invaders. Ultimately, the Fantastic Four teach us that power isn't just about who can hit the hardest, it's also about how you use your gifts in harmony with others. Together, these four heroes make Marvel's first family as formidable as they come. But if you absolutely have to pick the single most powerful member, Sue Storm gets the crown for her overwhelming and versatile powers, followed by Johnny, Ben, and Reed in that order. Yet by versatility and importance, Reed and Sue lead the pack, showing that leadership and strategy can trump raw power. It's a nuanced answer, but that's fitting for the Fantastic Four. They are at their best when each member's unique power contributes to the team's victory, and that's the fantastic truth.